Hello, my name's Every Bubble, and I sometimes go by the name of Simon, and this is a thoughts video. So recently, I managed to play Rajas of the Ganges, which was actually rather surprising. It was a game I particularly enjoyed. Now, of course, this isn't a full review. I'm not going to explain all the rules. I'm not going to give critical analysis of the game, but I just want to kind of give my thoughts and just say why I do like this. You see, when I played it, I kind of went into it not knowing much. I knew this was a Essen release. I knew it got some good praise at Essen, so I guess expectations were quite high. My friends have said they've played it with 2 and 3 players and they rather enjoyed it, and then we played it with 4 players, including me, and we were blown away by it. So essentially, this is a worker placement game. You are going to be placing down your workers in various spots on the board and doing the actions, as any worker placement game does. The key difference is your resources that you're using are dice. So there is a balancing act between doing actions and having the dice available to do those actions. A lot of times you might have to spend a worker simply just to get more dice. And likewise, you might be wanting to try to use your dice in the way that's most optimal, and that's really the crux of the game. So in a sense, this is similar to Marco Polo, except again, you don't have dice as workers, you just have workers, and the resources that you use are dice. You obviously have to roll them, and you have, I think, 4 different types of colors to essentially choose from. The main object of the game is to amass both fame and gold, and you're trying to let them meet in the middle. So essentially, you're trying to reach a balance of like 120 points divided between gold and fame. If you ever play a game like Tales of the Arabian Nights, where you can split between, say, Destiny and Fate, this is kind of the same thing. You're trying to race up both of these tracks. As you do so and you race up, you unlock bonuses which will get you more dice or get you, say, more karma points. Karma points can be used to just basically flip a die on its head. So there's a nice level of dice mitigation this game provides. The crux of the game, though, really is amassing points, but you're trying to do it in a way that you don't ever run out of dice. Because if you run out of dice, you're essentially going to have to waste turns just getting more dice, and that's not something you want to be doing in this game. There are various action spaces. For example, one space will allow you to go up a river, and then that, similar to, say, Great Western Trail, and as you go up the river and stop in different spots, you'll gain, say, a benefit, which would be more money, or might be more fame, or might let you buy a building, etc., etc. There's so many to choose from. Other spaces are like the market space and the building space. The building space is great because the building space, you have your personal board, and you're essentially doing Carcassonne tile lane, where you're trying to build roads that lead outwards. And the further out you go, the better bonuses you'll be able to get. However, each tower has different palaces on it. The palaces will give you points for building them. They're fame, essentially. And obviously there are different action spaces to build those buildings. It kind of intermingles all the elements. You see, what happens is you want to build buildings, which will give you access to palaces and markets. Markets get you access to the market spaces, which then get you money. You also want to make sure your boat moves up the track, and that stops in various action spaces that will assist you. And then there's the action spaces for dice specifically, and the dice have to be the same number. So you have spaces 1 to 6, and each of them provide a very powerful bonus to you, but only one person can be on that spot per round. So you're hoping no one else will be taking those spots, because the spots are quite insane. One essentially is going to give you 2 dice for the 1 dice you spend, and it's going to get you an improvement tile, which, again, if you connect your buildings up in a certain way and connect to it, you'll get a bonus that way. Another will let you rebuild a certain road. Another will be first player. The crux of the game really does come down to balancing. It's so tight with a 4-player game. You're constantly wondering what other people are doing, but there's also, you never have to wonder too hard. You see, you can look at people's dice and instantly know, okay, they can't do this spot, they can't do this spot, they can do this, but will they? So it's not, you're not trying to plan out every single move they have possible opening to them. You just have a very limited amount of moves you have to worry about, but at the same time, that's good enough. I think a lot of times people suffer from analysis paralysis is because there's just so many options for you to consider. In this, you have options, but there's always a good option. There's always an option that's like, yeah, I probably should be doing this. And that's nice. Do you want to keep this going for gold? Because gold's only worth like essentially half a fame point, but the bonuses that you get for passing certain points are going to be more cumulative. Same thing for fame. Fame is not going to get you many bonuses, but it's easier to get more points that way. You have choices in how it plays, and the game ends in a nicely timed fashion. Even in a 4-player game that only takes about an hour and a half to really get done. The rules aren't too complicated. As soon as you sit down and play it for the first time, you instantly know how it works. Again, it's just a worker placement game. But for some reason, it's nice. The production quality is unbelievably good for what it is. The dice are lovely. If you have ever seen Sagrada type dice, they're these lovely clear plastic ones, but they feel so nice to just roll. And just the way the game presents itself. So what's nice is you have this Indian statue with the 8 arms, and essentially that's where you place your dice. And that's just a nice touch that a lot of games tend to forget. It's kind of like, let's just bring some thematic elements into the board to make it look good, but have a purpose as well. A lot of times they try and do one or the other, and they don't succeed that well in doing either. So it's really nice. I think for me, Rajas of the Ganges is a really good middleweight Euro game. It's not heavy. If anything, I'd probably say it's actually quite light. But the choices you make are crunchy. That balancing act between having enough dice and doing the actions that you want to do that will get you points is incredibly rewarding, especially when you can do a combination of things. When you can go up a fame track or a gold track, which allow you to get 2 more dice, and the next turn you're going to drop those 2 dice to then build a building which gets you another 8 points of fame, and that unlocks a bonus for you, which then allows you to move your ship, and then you move your ship a certain amount of space and get a new worker. It's so satisfying when you can pull those things off. And again, this game is so good for what you get presented with. There's not a lot in the box. There are dice, there's a board, and a few more boards, and that's it. But this game comes alive when you have 4 players and you're jousting for different spots on the board. Rajas of the Ganges, absolutely fantastic. I think it's probably going to be one of my games of the year. I definitely want to get more games of it done, and I can see myself, if there is ever expansion that comes out for this, I can see myself picking it up. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. That's going to be it for this thoughts video. Let me know what you think, of course, if you like dice games. If you think Marco Polo might be the better game of the two. For me, it's a toss-up at the moment, if I'm being honest. And, of course, remember to like and subscribe the video, because I will always be putting out content every week. That is a promise. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.